Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us here on SA Today. The Commission of Inquiry into State Capture is hearing evidence related to Eskom from the Power Utilities former Acting Group CEO Matshela Koko. Earlier this month, Koko told the Commission that former Eskom legal head Suzanne Daniels had lied to the Commission several times.
I grew up in Eskom. I keep on saying Eskom is my blood is blue. My association with Eskom is over 33 years. I may look young. There is a course we did and we do everywhere. It's called Managing Contracts in SAP. It tells you exactly what to do to make a payment. So the contract manager will sign off what we call a completion certificate. And the completion certificate will either say goods have been received or work has been done, services has been done, and I, the contracts manager, authorizes that the job is done. Then there's an invoice. The invoice goes to the contracts manager. The only people who pay suppliers in Eskom is not Mr. Singh, it's not contract manager, it's shared services. So the invoice the shared services will receive the invoice. The first thing the finance person does, is that he checks if there's an order number. So if there's an invoice that is not accompanied by an order number, and we loosely call it in colloquial term at Eskom, a 4-5 number. So a contract, if you see the contract we discussed, is 4600529909, I think. It's a 46 number. You don't pay on a 46 number. You have to create a 45 number. So the invoice comes. The financial person checks if there's a 45 number. In a loose language in Eskom, when I say where is the 45 number, I'm asking you the question, is the order placed? Is the order signed? So there's a 45 number. Once there's a 45 number, so there's an invoice with a 45 number, then there must be what we call a goods received or services received in SAP. And the goods received and services received is done by the contract manager. We call it a three-way matching. So you cannot do a payment without a three-way matching. You're matching the invoice, you're matching the order, and whether the job has been done. And one of the frustrations that I have witnessed when I'm sitting at home is to see the focus on Koko, the focus on Mr. Singh. I call it Koko Hunt. Because the focus must be on the process. The process says there must be an order number. Was the order placed? And if the order is not placed, who did not place the order? Was the work done? Who signed the goods received, Chair? Somebody signs a completion certificate. Somebody put his neck on the block that the work was done.
Yes.
Who is that guy? That's a process.
Yeah.
And then somebody paid. He called it three-way matching.
I think
that must be, unless the person who did a completion certificate, the person who did goods received, the person who did payments comes to you and say, actually, I was given instruction by the orders above.
To go against the normal.
To go against the normal process.
Yeah.
Then it will make sense.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing. But I don't see affidavits or statements of the people in the process that says, I was given instructions to do this unlawful thing.
No. What you say is important. You see, Mr. Singh is still going to come back. He has not finished. But what I was hoping he was still going to do, and I don't know if I said he should do it, is not to just speak in general terms to say at Eskom there are processes and procedures, but to say here are the documents that outline who has the responsibility to do what.
All right, so those are visuals from earlier on. Let's take you there live now to the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, where, of course, the hearing into Eskom-related evidence. Matshela Koko continues on the stand.
Objected to the online vending and the appointment of a master vendor of Blue Label. It's me.
Yes, you know,
You are told too many
Mr.
things.
Koko, it shows how important it is to hear from everybody, because assume that you did not come to testify and participate, maybe nobody would have highlighted the things that you consider important to be highlighted, and they are legitimate things to be highlighted. So it's good that you are here, you are participating, you are highlighting what should be highlighted, you are putting your version. It's important. Yeah. Yes, that letter, do we have it, Mr. Selega, from the minister?
Not, yeah, I've seen it. The reference to it, we don't have the letter, Chair.
Okay,
We'll have to get the letter.
It's just that I wonder what it was saying,
Yeah.
Because from the fact that that Dr. Ngubane refers to it,
Yes.
that fact suggests that the minister may have written to the board about the same subject matter of those newspapers.
Chairman, let me tell you
Yeah.
how damaging that letter is. And it is in this context that I need you to see the evidence of Dr. Ngubane when he denies that I've met with him.
Yes,
It's extremely damaging letter.
yes. And you have got a copy by any chance?
No, I read the transcript. That
Yes.
letter was never produced. So this letter says,
Yes.
on this email from info portal address, attached to it was a letter from the minister. So Dr. Ngubane is suggesting to you that he received a letter from the an email from the info portal address with an attachment of a letter signed by the minister. You realize how damaging that is?
Yeah, you see, it becomes all the more important because I've had evidence. Well, certainly the minister, Ms. Brown, who gave evidence last week, said, if I recall correctly, she has never met Mr. Salim Essa. If I recall correctly, or she might have met once or whatever, I'm not sure, but I thought she said she had not met him, and certainly not in her house or official residence. She said the person that she had dealt with was Mr. Ajay Gupta. But of course, there is Mr. Tsotsi's evidence suggesting that there may have been some interactions between the minister and Mr. Salim Essa, because he said he had been called to the minister's residence and he found the minister in the company of Mr. Salim Essa and Mr. Tony Gupta, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So that letter may well be important to look at for more than one reason.
Yes.
Well, Chair, after the denial by Dr. Ngubane, I think that letter is even more important to show the kind of person we're dealing with.
Yes, so if we don't have it, attempts must be made for us to obtain a copy. And I take it that the ministry might still have it. I don't know if Eskom might have it, but let attempts be made.
Yes, Chair.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Ms. Koko, that online vending in the email on the list.
Your junior hasn't found the page which has got that.
I have it, Chair.
Because I'll find that much more easier to look at than the screenshot.
Is the Eskom bundle 8A. Page 87. .88.
Mr. Koko, you were accusing the investigators of the commission of not having done their job in certain respects. If you don't mind, I would like a document in which you specify what it is that you think was important for them to have looked at, which you believe they have not looked at. If I could get that via your lawyers who would send it to the legal team and they give it to me, I would like to have a look at that.
Oh, but Chair, we've done that. We've sent you a letter. My counsel sent you a letter on issues that the investigating team ought to have looked at.
Is that the document you're talking about?
I've sent it. We've sent it to you.
Yes, no.
We can document it.
No. What I'm asking is your answer that the issues on which you rely to make that accusation are issues contained in correspondence that has been sent already?
No, Chair. The question Mr. Seleka asked me is that I must comment on the people that effected the Master Services Agreement. And my response to him is that I cannot do that because your investigators have not investigated the players and what they should be doing. They've not done that.
Yes, but you see, Mr. Koko, if you are making that accusation in good faith, I'm saying I'm interested in looking at that.
I'm happy to do that.
If you say that information is already in correspondence that has been given, I'm happy to go back and look at that. I just want to make sure that I satisfy myself what is going on with regard to those issues.
Chair, I am satisfied that you have before you from my lawyers why I say the investigators have not applied themselves in a manner that they should have.
Yes. Mr. Seleka, I would like to see the correspondence that I guess that might be correspondence that your counsel ended up here on one of the days when
That's
you are
correct.
hearing.
That's correct, Chair.
Okay, and my registrar is hearing. I would like to look at that, but I would like to look at that.
Yes.
And if I think I understand it, then I'll take it from there. But if there's something that I don't understand, I'll raise it. But I'm interested because there should not be any matter that should be investigated that hasn't been investigated, except for situations where the time constraints have made it impossible. But if somebody makes an accusation such as that, we should be able to look at the accusation on its merits, and if indeed there are matters that have not been investigated, which should have been investigated, we should be able to say, yes, it is so, and this is the explanation, or no, this is the position, and so on and so on.
Yes.
So my interest is just in making sure that the accusation is not brushed aside.
Yes.
But it can be looked at properly.
Yes, you do have a document to that effect from my lawyers.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Chair, if I may just refer
Mr. Berry, if you can tell me, if possible, what date the letter is in
we
particular.
provided the letter on the 3rd of December.
Sorry, Mr. Berry, hang on. Wait for me to finish, and then you can speak, because otherwise I don't hear you, and you won't hear me. So my question is, what I'm saying is, I would very much like you to give me the date of the letter that has got the information that he's talking about. Then I'll look at it. If you are able to tell me now, that's fine. If you would only be able to tell me later, that would be fine.
We handed the letter up to you, I believe it was on the 3rd of December, but I'm under correction, and your response to that was that we should support that on affidavit. and the letter was then addressed in the supplementary affidavit of Mr. Koko. I believe what you have put to Mr. Koko now goes wider than that. Insofar as you say that if there's anything else that Mr. Koko says should have been apart from those things.
Yeah.
But those have been substantiated and have been dealt with in the supplementary affidavit.
Yeah.
But if there's anything else, we'll address that as well. As you
No, that's fine. Yes, it is so. If there's anything else other than what's in the correspondence already that can be added, but I will have a look at it. Let me say that my understanding was that correspondence related largely to information that you were looking for, and I was under the impression that the reason why there has been no complaint afterwards is because the information was provided. And I know Mr. Selega did tell me at a certain stage that he had either responded or caused the secretary to respond and furnish a certain information. So, one, we were going to meet, I was going to have a meeting on a certain Saturday, and the Friday before that Saturday, somebody working closely to me was tested positive for COVID-19, which made it necessary for me to go on self-isolation. As a result of that, no such meeting could take place that weekend. And subsequently, I did, I think, ask Mr. Selega to address the issue of the information that was being sought, and he indicated to me that at some stage that he sent correspondence dealing with those matters. So I just want to place on record my understanding in regard to that.
Yes.
Mr. Selega, is there something that I misunderstood?
No, your understanding is correct, Chair. We just need to make a distinction between that information, the last part you're talking about, where there's a request for information relative to telephone records. That was made available to Mr. Koko and his team. The first part you talked about with Mr. Koko, which is areas which he thought the Commission should pursue an investigation on, that letter is there, but it was also responded to. So we did in one hearing deal with that aspect to some extent. And you will see, Chairperson, when you read the correspondence, it should refresh your memory. I can recall off the cuff that there were two aspects that Mr. Koko thought we should investigate. One was how Glencoe was treated. I think it was about the fair treatment or special treatment given to Glencoe. And then the Sumitomo issue. There might have been another one.
Miss Daniels.
Corruption at Midupen Kusele.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So we did respond to that fully.
Yes.
But we will make that available to the chairperson.
Yeah, make that available.
Yeah. What then Mr. Koko, I think, was trying to draw to your attention, Chair, is his response to my question about...
All right, the Commission, they're hearing Eskom-related evidence with Matshela Koko on the stand this afternoon. We'll get you more on that in our later bulletin.